everyone, Brew here. Just decided to play some more Seduce Me the Otome because why the hell not? I was bored. I remember last time we left off, I believe we were in the graveyard? I think so. Let's find out. Yep, we were over here. It's been so long. This was literally January 7th. That's depressing. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
I really like the voice acting in this game. I don't know if I've said that before, but I really like it. Like, it's so calming? Is that the right word? Thanks, Mom. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Gathering my courage, I decided then that it was time to talk. Dad, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college...
Oops. I did not see what that said. I guess, is there a way to...
Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there
Okay.
and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if
Stop mumbling.
I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped in me. Wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that grandfather passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
Not like anything even happened at all. Like you just ignored the fact he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms and erupted in angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
Is that it? Are you happy seeing grandfather dead? While everyone was grieving, were you holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's faces? Did you just feel a bit happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? A flash of rage crossed his face, and he whipped the back of his hand across my cheek.
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut! You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Is everything all right? What happened?
Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go to my room.
Honey, wait!
I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in short pants, and for a while I just leaned against the door to my bedroom, eventually sliding down to sit against it. How did things become like this? My cheeks still throbbed, and I tentatively stood up and looked at the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. What am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry twice on the same day. I had to be stronger than that.
Are you alright? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
It's fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though, and I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs later to eat.
You're not telling me the whole story.
I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
I wanted to tell her. A part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done. But at the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something, anything, to get my mind off what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. But I was going to move into my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I'd be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found the 2 large bags. Pulling them onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just some clothes and some toiletries. It's kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of my thoughts. If it was going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it into a home. Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began ringing and vibrating in my pocket. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while setting myself onto my bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey Anderson, you there? Is everything alright? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began telling them about the funeral that afternoon. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so we can keep talking on the phone like this.
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu? Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang. Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously. What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid! If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game!
We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon, I had forgotten about the events that day and was engaged in a conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show. Some program called Thurlock. We all agreed that an actor playing the titular character certainly had a very distinctive look about him, with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are pretty, though I do have to say I prefer Jetson. As a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's already 1 a.m. Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beats hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. Ah, a nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It's been a really long day. I knew that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting if things happened today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Me every Monday. Well, every Sunday. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I just wasn't really in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out on the lamp to my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. I shook my head, trying to clear the sleepiness out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school. As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubted anyone would actually notice it until I leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught the bus to go to school. It wasn't even hours before anyone heard the news. I was approached at school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man! Quit being so sensitive, Naomi. Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
I don't know what to pick. I'm so confused. Do these choices influence the story? I don't know. I'm just gonna randomly click on one and hope it's right. But that's not working. There we go.
Oh, man, come on! See? She knows about proper public taste. I know how to be a lady. Sheesh.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents wanted me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. Just invite them over, okay? Just invite them over to your new house. That's all you have to do.
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that. Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
Oh, it's this bitch. She let out a small laugh as she twisted her hair around her finger. Lizette, one of the last people I wanted to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I? Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
I'd nearly forgotten about the crowd that had followed Lizette. It was mostly comprised of people no one wanted to see on a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why they followed Lizette around so persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line! Suzu comes from an honest family!
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
What the hell, guys?
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Again, what the hell, guys?
Ah! Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Just stop. Stop acting like that already, like you feel sorry for me.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you wanted, and seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me, and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. Are you gonna start cussing? Honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lizette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lizette. I'm sick of all these charades. I'm sick of you. Gasps arose from the crowd around her, and when I was brought back to the school hallway, even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lizette held her hand up to stop her. There was emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see some sort of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile, as if for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comforted at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close contorted me to something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it. Something about her definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
She looked nervous. Something about Lizette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I'd never seen her like that before. I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with a gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Miss Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls? Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Miss Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know, he was amazing. I really looked up to him and wanted to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Thank you, Naomi.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Is that even possible, Suzu? Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best to make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
No, it's okay. I'll be fine. See you. Invite them over. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
I got in the car. I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching at his steering wheel and staring straight ahead as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
Does he betray us? Because this is really cute. And after what I watched last night, I really don't want to know. And he couldn't bring himself to say that what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now he couldn't say it to me. I turned my head to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he began to drive, and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to Grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far away from the school and from where our house was. He'd always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age, living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? He sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Even though he and my father would have probably given each other the silent treatment the entire time, maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up so long since then. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked as he usually was, happy and healthy. But things changed. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have had to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. I'm gonna save here, because I don't know how much space my phone has. Hey, we're gonna click back over here. There we go. Why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying my best so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if something was loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Yeah, I can manage on my own. The silence resumed between us. I wasn't really sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't hold the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at Grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. Okay. Here is another thing. I still don't know if these are actually if these actually affect the story. So, I've just been randomly clicking on them. What time is it? 10:56. Okay, we're good. Let's try again. Because I really want to know what happened between her father and her grandfather. Say, Dad, about you and Grandpa.
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday, so...
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
As always, he managed to shut down any other form of conversation related to him. Just like what happened last night. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It's like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could find anything out by somehow arguing my way through it. Alright then. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house. Oh, frick. Frick. Okay, if anybody knows how the hell to go back and look at what the conversation says, I would love you forever if you could tell me in the comments. How would I manage living on my own without any training to be a homeowner? I knew naturally that bills would be paid by my parents who inherited my grandfather's stocks to the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted by the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic about moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I didn't want to let Grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? And of course, no answer. What was I doing, searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist? I ducked my head to stare outside the blur of trees and the cars from the car window. My head was definitely going to be going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The place is, huge. Holy crap. The car rolled to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
Alright, tell Mom I love her.
Alright.
Love you, Dad. No, make sure to come by and visit us often. No, I'm gonna miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare. I paused a bit before reaching out for the car door handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye, but he didn't speak again. Does he even care about us? Because, I'm getting the feeling he doesn't really care about us and he really wanted us to leave. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. The bags I packed last night were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this. It's hard to believe. The entire house is framed by tall gates. I hesitantly pushed them aside to take in the entire state. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidated with its size. Though if I came closer, it was clear that there were more to it than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lonely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look, but in the contrast, the tall doors into the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. I knew what it was waiting for me. I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took the keys out in front of the front door to lock them. I might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyway. That's when I saw them. Whoa. What? No, frick. There's a bunch of men laying on the floor. That's all I got from that. Huh? Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds. The blood was staining the floor and the sun was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but I was a bit shocked and a bit angry at the sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from caring and concerned to confused and demanding answers. Who are you people? No response. I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake. It seemed surreal to have random strangers in the house I just moved into, but I wanted answers quickly. That was until... Get away from me! I couldn't believe it. Within a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went from laying on the floor to be right in front of my face. What was even more the fact that I felt serene and calm about it. Oh, I'm so cute! I'm so cute! Wow! Slowly desire burned from my chest, telling me to accept his kiss even when my mind vehemently refused. Go ahead.
Good.
As he kissed me, I feel my body go weak. I don't know why, but that kiss was draining me of my energy. Yet it was so good and made my heart sing. It was a strange tingling feeling that danced over every nerve of my body. I could feel screams of intangible energy run through my veins and into my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time it felt amazing.
Sam, stop it.
The person kissing me, Sam was his name?
I said stop. Now.
Who are you people?
Fine.
Who are you people? Why do I feel like you people are probably taller than me? finally pulled back, and I was left there standing there in a daze. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here. Oh, Sage, what'd you make me get into? Why'd you make me get into it? I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm just gonna, yeah. I gotta go wake my mom up. Have fun, I guess. This is a very, very, very weird game. Why are there strangers in my house? Are they these strangers? I'm assuming these are these strangers. Ugh. Bye, guys. Fuck.